iMac. It's iconic. Throughout every generation Apple has released, it's been a stylish, all-in-one desktop for everyday computing. It's the computer that brought Apple back from the brink of bankruptcy, so it rightly holds a special place in the hearts of long-time Mac fans. And I've said it before, an iMac always seems to be greater than the sum of its parts. If you've owned one, you'll know what I mean. What makes it special can't be broken down by mere tech specs. And over the years, Apple has mostly stayed true to the original formula. Mostly affordable, stylish, all-in-one computer for everyday computing. It was an alternative to the more performant Pro models, until 2017 when Apple launched the iMac Pro, putting a Xeon chip and Vega GPU in the 27-inch chassis. And after that, the standard 27-inch iMac could be optioned with faster and faster multi-core i9 CPUs and even a Vega 48 and 5700 XT GPU option. It actually became a very popular machine for creative professionals. A glorious 5K resolution display in a compact form factor with performance to spare, what's not to like? Except that with the current generation of iMac, Apple has gone back to the original formula. There's no Pro models available and there's just one display size, 24 inches. And rumours have been plentiful, and it's believed that Apple has been working on a larger iMac, as large as 32 inches according to some sources, but the rumour mill seems to have gotten rather quiet on that topic of late. Should Apple make the larger iMac? Would it fit into the current lineup, and would you buy it? Let's address the all-in-one elephant in the iMac-sized room. Why would you buy a computer with an inbuilt display? It means that you have to buy a display every time you change your computer. Is it not more efficient to buy a separate display and separate computer? Well, yes, of course. Now, back in the day, Apple allowed target display mode on the iMac, so you could at least use the display with another machine, but that's not a current feature. Despite this though, there are still a few reasons why you might want to buy an iMac. Firstly, iMac has always been about having a stylish and minimalist computer on your desk. True, a Mac Mini hardly takes up much room, but a lot of iMac customers specifically want the form factor of the iMac. Secondly, iMac seems to enjoy longevity. The typical everyday computer target market aren't looking for cutting-edge performance or regular upgrades, and iMacs do seem to last. Take this M1 iMac model for example. This is the model with 16 gigabytes of unified memory, and so it still feels smooth and delightful to use more than 4 years after launch. And I'd expect it to still be perfectly usable in another 4 years' time. Thirdly, price. Now, it is true that you can buy a base M4 Mac Mini with a Magic Keyboard and a mouse, a decent 4K display, speakers and webcam for about $100 to $200 less than the 24-inch iMac with the same spec. But that argument ignores the fact that the iMac here has a 4.5K screen, and that's 36% more pixels than standard 4K. That's significant. Plus it's offering this in a one cable, minimal desk footprint, stylish design. And the moment you start upping the spec, the relative difference in cost shrinks. And I think this would be even more evident if Apple made a larger iMac. Let's suppose that Apple released a 27-inch 5K iMac with an M4 Pro chip. What would the cost be? Now, it's impossible to know that for sure, but let's consider that the 2020 27-inch iMac started at $1,800 on release. And the best pre-configured or standard SKU was $2,300. What if a 27-inch M4 Pro iMac cost $3,000? How would that compare to buying separates? Well, let's try it a moment. If we select the base Mac Mini with M4 Pro, we'll add a 27-inch studio display, and we're already up to $3,000. But we still have to add a keyboard and mouse, and that brings the total to $3,226. Whereas of course iMac has always shipped with a keyboard and mouse. Now of course with the separates you do get a pretty minimal setup, and a screen that you can use again if you upgrade your computer. And this is probably why Apple hasn't rushed to bring a larger iMac to market. To make it a compelling purchase over the separates at this price level, they need it to be a better value. And this makes the 32-inch argument more reasonable. If the studio display remains at 27 inches and Apple offers a new larger iMac in a 32-inch format with a 6K display, that would place it in a unique position in the Mac lineup. Apple could charge rather more than $3,000 and it would still seem like great value because there would be no way to achieve it with separates. The 32-inch Pro Display XDR with a stand is $6,000 on its own. So in my opinion, iMacs do make a lot of sense, even if you have a fixed display that you can't reuse with another computer. That said, we do quite happily rush out to buy laptops with amazing displays that are permanently tied to the computer, so is it really any different with an iMac? But I guess the bigger problem is that if the iMac is larger and more powerful, it's no longer targeted at the everyday computer demographic. Instead, we're now competing in the creative professional and enthusiast user space, and these users typically upgrade their machines more frequently. So those arguments I made about the longevity of the iMac no longer apply. And these computers, they hold their value well. So you can sell the old model and offset the cost of an upgrade. Just imagine a 32-inch 6K iMac with the M4 Pro, or more likely M5 Pro by the time we see it. Compelling option? I could see that being hugely popular with photographers, video editors, developers, and more. But why stop there? If Apple can put a Max chip into a 14-inch MacBook Pro, they can certainly put a Max chip in a 32-inch iMac. And imagine if they could do that for the same or less than the cost of the 6K display. Remember, that 6K resolution is almost 2.5 times more pixels than standard 4K. There would definitely be a market for that machine. So what do you think? M5 Pro and Max in a 32-inch iMac? Could we see that next year? Would you buy one? Let me know in the comments. I look forward to reading them. Thanks for watching and for all your support. I'll see you soon for some more geekery.